There is a persistent modern myth that spiritual practice and self-improvement operate on a smooth, upward trajectory. We sit down to meditate, expect the noise to fade, and anticipate a quiet ascent toward a better version of ourselves, until the illusion shatters. Instead of profound peace, sincere seekers frequently collide with a wall of sudden burnout. They encounter paralyzing self-doubt, deep physical restlessness, and an active rebellion of the mind right at the moment they try to quiet it. This sudden collapse represents a systemic vulnerability of human consciousness, documented with clinical precision thousands of years ago. Looking at this ancient manuscript, we find the work of Patanjali. He operated as a master diagnostician. In his Yoga Sutras, he explicitly codified 9 ways the mind sabotages itself, and 4 ways the physical body pays the price. Failing in your spiritual practice marks the start of a predictable, ancient life cycle of resistance. Patanjali called these obstacles Antarayas. The list operates chronologically, beginning with the foundational breaches that stop a practitioner before they even make it to the cushion. The very first obstacle is vyadi, or physical disease. It is a pragmatic acknowledgement that the gross physical vessel must be maintained to do any subtle spiritual work. Looking at the commentary from the 19th century scholar Swami Vivekananda, he noted that the physical body is the boat, which will carry us to the other shore of the ocean of life. Without a healthy vessel, the mind becomes too disturbed to focus. Even if the body is healthy, the next hurdles are sthana and alasya, mental dullness and physical laziness. This is the heavy, dragging friction that drains our energy and manufactures excuses to avoid practice entirely. Once you push past that initial inertia, the resistance evolves. The body is now functioning, but the mind actively weaponizes itself to halt your momentum. This manifests as samshaya, or doubt. It is the crippling internal voice that questions the validity of the method, the competence of the teacher, and your own capacity to succeed. When doubt weakens your resolve, pramada and avarati step in, carelessness and a craving for sensory stimulation. Long before the modern attention economy, Patanjali observed how the mind aggressively pulls itself back into worldly distractions. As soon as you overcome physical inertia, the mind shapeshifts. It continually uses your own desires and insecurities to manufacture entirely new forms of resistance. For the advanced seeker, the traps become far more sophisticated. The most dangerous obstacles actively masquerade as spiritual progress. Patanjali identifies Bhranti Darshana, or false perception. Here, the ego co-opts the practice, tricking the seeker into believing they have achieved deep enlightenment when they have only experienced a minor shift in perspective. Then comes the profound heartbreak of alabdha bhumakadva and anavastatadva. This is the experience of finally touching a high state of clarity and then entirely losing that stability, slipping backward into old habits. These advanced mental failures do not remain contained in the mind. In Sutra 1.31, Patanjali explains exactly what happens to the physical body when these psychological obstacles are allowed to take root. This text shows the formal link. The vikshepas, the 9 mental impediments of Sutra 1.30, are directly tied to companions in Sutra 1.31. These are the observable physical consequences. An unstable mind predictably manifests as severe grief, mental depression, nervous tremors, and labored breathing. Subtle, invisible spiritual blockages inevitably mutate into severe, observable physical suffering. Experiencing deep spiritual struggle is a rigorously documented, required phase of human development. The simple act of naming these obstacles, recognizing doubt or lethargy for exactly what they are, begins to create distance. You are no longer failing, you are simply observing the mind run its predictable script. Patanjali grouped all of these struggles under the term vikshepa, meaning distractions. Categorizing a personal struggle as a mere distraction strips the obstacle of its emotional weight and associated guilt. As Swami Vivekananda taught, it is impossible to move in a perfectly straight line. True progress proceeds through an endless cycle of rising and falling. This wall you face is a dynamic, shape-shifting antagonist, an encounter that proves you are actually moving forward. Now that we have fully diagnosed the disease of the mind, what is the actual cure? Patanjali does not leave us with just a list of symptoms. In the next verses, he lays out a precise collection of practical, targeted methods to restore inner balance. We will explore those exact cures in the next episode.